Hello everybody, my name is Jamie Jarka. I'm an art teacher and I own Little Monsters Art. I host creative parties and fundraisers for children and adults, and I am also offering creative kits where you can, if you live in my area, you can purchase at my house. Come pick it up. It's a 16 by 20 canvas, a paintbrush, and a palette of paint for whatever lesson you choose. There's now I think 10 video tutorials that I have. You can find them on my Facebook page at Little Monsters Art it's like L-I-L. Or you can find them if you go on YouTube and search Jamie Jarka, J-A-R-K-A. Okay, so this week I am going to be painting a flower with you, okay? Now, if you choose to do yours differently, because I'm gonna do mine in the style of an artist that I really love, Georgia O'Keeffe. I'm not gonna do like the vase or the entire flower. I'm gonna do a very like close-up of the more of like the inside of the flower, and almost as if you were painting with it like right next to you. So you have to think about what colors you may wanna use for your flower. We are gonna do a little bit of drawing as well, so you're gonna need a pencil. If you are painting, just make sure you have the colors that you want for your flower. If you purchased a kit, I have a lot more of like the pinks and the purples, so you might wanna use that for, you know, the larger areas of your painting. If not, and you don't have any paint at home, you can use whatever else you have, crayons or markers, oil pastels, watercolor paints, that works. But just if you are painting with me, make sure you have a paper towel, make sure you have some water to wash off your brush, a paintbrush, and whatever you're painting on, your paper, your canvas, whatever you choose, okay? So go gather your things, don't forget a pencil, and I will see you in like a second. Okay, you have your pencil ready. It's only gonna be a quick, you know, we're not using our pencil for that long. We're just using it for a few seconds. You can hold your paper vertical or horizontal, or if you have a square piece of paper, it doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm gonna do mine horizontal today. And I'm gonna start by thinking about how large I want the inside of my flower. You can make it a little bit smaller, or you can make it really, really big. That's up to you. This is something that my 6-year-old did for me. A few months ago actually. She painted a smaller inside of the flower, and then she did her petals, you know, I'm just showing you so you get an idea that you could do it like with using these colors. I also have other examples, but I want you to kind of come up with your own idea of how you want to do yours. So I'm going to start off in the center, and it doesn't have to be perfectly in the center, and it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. So I'm just going to start off by drawing a circle, but not a perfect circle, okay? I hope you can see that. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, each time I draw my petal, I'm gonna go off my paper a little bit. I have done this with my kindergarten classes, so if you're following along and you've already done this, if you're from Nellie Bennett, hi guys. We'll just do it again because the kids loved this project, okay? So I'm gonna start on the flower, on the inside of the flower, on the circle. And I'm going to take my pencil and I'm gonna curve it in just a little bit, because if you make it too straight, it'll still look fine, but if you try to curve it in a little bit, it'll give it more of like the actual petal of a flower instead of like, you know, just straight lines. And then I'm gonna do the other one. I'm gonna curve it in. So now I've got one petal, okay? Then I'm gonna move along to the next one, which is going to be touching the circle. I'm gonna go up and off my paper, and then do another one that kind of curves in the opposite way. So one kind of curves to the left, the other one kind of curves to the right. Now it looks like bunny ears, okay? If we could see this okay. Then I'm ready for the next, and you're going all the way off your paper because you want to make it look really, really, really big. Okay, and then we're gonna do the next one. You're gonna do this all the way till you get around the entire thing. And some of them might appear to be a little bit bigger than others, but that's what I love, because no flower, you know, the petals don't ever look exactly alike. Okay, I'm gonna start here, go off my paper all the way to the end. You don't wanna stop. And then off, okay? And then this one, and this one, and then I think I have room for 2 more. 1, 2, 1, too. Now your petals might be totally different than mine. Some of them might be a lot bigger. Some of them you might have a lot more. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8, okay? That doesn't mean you need the same amount, but that's just as you know, so you can get an idea, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is put my pencil down. I don't need it anymore. I'm actually going to think about what color I wanna do my petals. I would think of a color that I've seen, you know, in a flower. I don't think that I would be using green because that's more of like the color for a stem. Although if you want to use green, you can. Black, I would use for maybe the center, but I don't think I would do the petals black because that, you know, I don't think I've ever really seen any black flowers. So maybe like the purples, the pinks, the oranges, the yellows, you might want to focus more on those colors so that it looks a little bit, you know, more realistic. You can still have fun with it and do like little polka dots and make it look artsy later, but I'm going to actually do mine a pink, okay? I'm gonna use a bright pink color for my petals. If you purchase the kit, you're gonna see that you have a lot more of the pink, the yellow, the orange, and the red, okay? So I would suggest that you use one of those colors when you're coloring in a lot. Some of you might want to alternate colors. That's fine. It might look a little busy, okay? So my suggestion to you is to choose one color and go all the way around, okay, with that same color, and then you can add some stuff to it in a little bit. So I'm going to dip the tip of my paintbrush into the pink paint, okay? Here's the palette if you purchased a kit. I'm going to start with that same petal up at the top, and you can switch your canvas around if you need to. You can kind of spin it if you can't reach, or if you're laying yours flat, you could spin it as well. But I'm going to very carefully paint in that whole thing, that whole petal. If you're having a hard time with your paint spreading out, I say this in all of my videos, just don't dip your paintbrush into a tiny bit of water, not a real lot where it's dripping all over, but that will help spread the paint out, okay? And also if you want to do along the edge of your canvas, that would be great, because if you're hanging them on the wall, they'll look so much better, okay? So I'm going to go around and do all of these, and you are going to paint all of yours, and I will see you in a minute. Okay, so I finished my flower. I did all of my petals the same color. Maybe you did all of yours the same color, maybe you did them different colors. I just say if they're all the same color, it's a lot easier to see. Now, while this is still a little bit wet, I'm gonna clean off my brush really good, dry them off on the paper towel. I'm gonna take a little bit of yellow. You don't have to do yellow. You could do a little bit of red, you could do a little bit of orange, a little bit of purple would look nice with this, but I'm going to just kind of add it to my pink, okay? And it's just kind of giving it a more flower kind of look. I guess it doesn't look as flat. I don't know what a flower look is, but it doesn't look as flat. It looks more realistic, I guess. And it's just what I choose to do, okay? So you can do this part. You don't have to do this part. All I'm doing is going back and forth with my paintbrush. I'm adding a tiny bit of water, okay? It's kind of making it into an orange color, which is kind of what I wanted to do. When the pink and the yellow mix together, they're gonna create a little bit more of an orangey kind of color, because it's like a little bit like mixing red and yellow. Okay, and you could do it like on the ends, just right here. You could do it like 2 lines of it, whatever you choose, okay? I'm gonna do a little bit more on a couple of them. But like I said, you can choose to do it however you want, okay? Also, at any time, if you want to pause the video, you can pause the video so that you can, you know, not feel like you're being rushed, or if you missed one of my directions, that'll really help you, okay? So now that was wet. When I did the pink was still a little bit wet, so it blended really nicely. If you wait for this to dry completely and then you want to add a color, it won't blend at all, okay? So you just have to think about if you want it to blend together, or if you're like, nope, I don't want it to, I just want to layer another color on. Okay, now I'm gonna start thinking about what color I want for my background, okay? Remember, your background color is really going to make your flower like pop out. So if you choose, like if I choose like a dark blue, it's really gonna pop this flower out. If I choose more of a red, it'll give it a whole different feeling. So I'm gonna actually do the dark blue, and I'm gonna paint it the same way I painted my flower. I'm gonna dip in, make sure your brush is clean. Okay, now I could use this light blue here, or I could use a darker blue. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna use this lighter blue because I have a lot of it and I really love this color anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna do it the same way I did the flower. The background is anything that is behind the flower. Okay, now if you're like, you know what, I really like the white, that's great, but just make sure you dip into your white and paint it white so it's not the color of the canvas if you did purchase the kit, because then it's gonna look like you didn't finish it. So even if you like the white, that is absolutely fine. Just make sure you paint it with the white anyway, okay? So right now I'm gonna dip in a little bit of blue, and I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna start at the bottom. Make sure you do your sides, okay? And I am going to go all the way around doing each of these white areas blue, and then I will show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so see you in a few seconds. All right, your background is done. Your flower looks great, I'm sure. I'm sure the colors look amazing. Now it's time for the inside. I know my kids were just up here. They told me, Mom, don't do black on the inside. So I'm gonna do a little bit of yellow, and then I'm going to wait for that to dry for a second, and then I'm gonna put like some little dots on there. You can do whatever you want to the background. If you wanted to add anything in your background, if you wanted to add more colors in your petals, if you wanted to outline anything in black or white, you can do that. So I'm going to go take a few minutes and, you know, do some finishing touches, and then I will show you what it looks like at the end, okay? I'm sure yours looks beautiful. Like I said, if you want to fix anything, you could always wait for it to dry. You know, put a little bit of white paint on it and then paint over if something was like messed up. But I'm sure it looks amazing, okay? So I will see you in a few minutes. All right, everybody. So great job on your artwork. Be sure to sign it, okay? Especially if you're gonna be hanging it on the wall. You wanna make sure that you sign it somewhere and then write 2020 because that's the year that you made your artwork. Bryn, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
This is my daughter, Bryn. Thank you again for painting with me. And if you're one of my students at Nellie Bennett, hi guys, I miss you. Or if you're just somebody following along, or a neighbor or a friend or whoever you may be, I hope you had a great time. And I look forward to painting with you soon, okay? So have a great day. Say bye, Brinny.
Bye-bye.
See ya.